Welcome, everyone.
Hello!
We are doing a little special thing that we've never done before. We're going to do a little, what we call a discussion. Nintendo Direct discussion. There, I pointed at him correctly. So Nintendo Direct discussion. That's what we're doing today. As always, I'm joined by my good brother, Friendly Nerd.
Hello, everybody.
He's here. Hopefully, I have everything set up. We made like multiple different videos to try and make sure that all the audio sounds right. We have background music, whatnot. So anyway, if you guys want to see more Nintendo Direct discussions, or even just other types of videos discussing maybe video game news, maybe even a podcast, that would be kind of cool to make. I don't know. It kind of all just depends on if you guys like watching this stuff. But
I feel like the podcast part I gotta bend my schedule a bit for that.
Well, it's whatever. The point is, if you guys want to see more content like this, please do like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below and let us know, because otherwise this probably won't happen again.
Ever.
Anyway, to get started, let's talk about this Nintendo Direct. It was announced this morning, Wednesday, September 13th. At 10 o'clock in the morning, Nintendo announced that there will be a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, and at the same time. So tomorrow, September 14th, at 10 o'clock in the morning, there will be a Nintendo Direct, which, by the way, I will be live streaming that. Hope to see you all there. Tristan may or may not join me, but that's okay. I will at least be live, so I hope to see you guys there. But with this Nintendo Direct discussion, both me and Tristan are going to be talking about essentially what we hope to see, what we think might be shown off at the Nintendo Direct, and that's about it. This is all going to be unedited, so every single mess up and whatnot, it's going to be in the video, so there's going to be no cutting, so
I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being an hour-long video.
It probably will be, and you know what? That's okay. My graphics card can render an hour-long video in like an hour, so we should be fine. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Anyway, let's just get started. So, do you want to get started with the leaks that have been going around all over Twitter, or do you want to start with personal predictions?
Well, first, I would honestly like to say that we should probably start off based on what may or may not actually be shown based off whatever Nintendo has already shown us so far.
So, okay. So
whether if it's upcoming in the later year, or that we know is coming out and has a release date by the end of this year.
So basically everything that has a release date now or to be determined. So let's start with, I guess, some of the Mario games, especially all the ones that they announced last Nintendo Direct. Do you think there's going to be any Mario Wonder mention here in the Direct?
I do not think there is, especially because like we recently just had a Nintendo Direct specifically on Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Right.
Basically going over the main story of it, all the cast of characters we play as, along with some power-ups that are coming as well. And we basically know what's going to happen. And for those that went to Gamescom and had a chance to play it, you guys are lucky to experience it. And
I'm just gonna stop you right there. It wasn't at Gamescom, it was at Nintendo Live that people got to play Mario Wonder.
I'm sorry, there's been a lot of stuff going on outside, but
you're good.
Going back to Mario Wonder, we basically know what's going on. So I mean, if they do talk about it a little bit, it'll probably be something that we haven't seen yet. But I highly doubt Nintendo will do that.
Right. So so for Mario Wonder specifically, I think I'm gonna agree with you here. If they were to show something at this direct, I mean, there's still like a month and like 7 days left before the game comes out. We already know basically a lot of what's going on in the game. Well, like the badge system, you know, basically Bowser becoming a castle and we have to do something to fix it, thanks to the Wonder Flowers and whatnot. So we basically know most of the mechanics, and I don't necessarily think we need to know any more, per se. But if it is in the Direct, I do agree that it'll probably be showing like one, maybe even two aspects that they haven't even talked about.
If anything, it would probably be like in that segment of like games that are going to be released. Like they just show a little flip of it, and it'll probably have like a little bit of game footage that we haven't seen
like
yet.
Towards the end of the Direct where they have like 5 or 6 games in quick succession. Like, oh, these few games are coming out very soon, and like Mario Wonder's like one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what I'm going off of.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I guess the other few Mario games that we might see is Mario RPG. That's coming out sometime in November. I think the second week of November.
It's November 17th. November 17th.
Glad you remember that. I don't remember.
Okay, so the reason I actually remember the date is for 2 reasons. One, that's literally my girlfriend's birthday, and 2, that will literally be our 11-month anniversary of dating. So
that's fair. That's fair. So with Mario RPG, if they were to show this off at the Direct, what would you hope to see more of?
Maybe show off maybe a little bit more gameplay of it, maybe to explain like how this version of Super Mario RPG is different than the original that came out on the Super Nintendo, I think in like 1996?
Something like that. Mistaken. It was in the 90s. It was old ago. Too far away.
It was before like both you and I were born.
Right.
So
and with Mario RPG, or specifically with the remake and other remakes that Square Enix has done with their RPGs, I think Square Enix is working on this remake. We actually don't 100% know who's working on this remake, whether it be Nintendo or Square Enix. But if it is Square Enix, most of their RPG remakes, like the recent Final Fantasy 1-6 like HD remasters, all of those have like special like leveling systems that you can basically, it's like a toggle that you get like 2 times experience points after every battle to basically like help yourself get through the game quicker so you don't have to like do a lot of grinding. Now, yeah. I've heard that Mario RPG is a pretty simple and easy RPG to begin with, and that those extra the added like experience point stuff that Square Enix has been doing with their HD remakes may not be necessary, especially for Mario RPG, because it's already an easy RPG to begin with. But do you think we'll see like stuff like that to just help out people who aren't that familiar with RPGs, like myself? Well, I am familiar with them, I just don't like playing them because of the grinding.
Right.
So do you think they would add something like that, or any other like just, I forgot what it's called, something life features?
Well, definitely, I will say, like, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it.
Quality of life features, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, but, like, based on, like, what was already shown off with the game itself, is that, it seems like it's just more of a one-to-one recreation with a new coat of paint.
Right. And
for the fact that, of course, the sprites are obviously updated to their more modern designs, along with, of course, Geno and Mallow having more updated designs from their original looks. But what I can basically see is, like, if they do add a new mechanic, it can definitely help out with some of the theories that I know a lot of people have based on the initial footage that we saw when they first announced it coming out. Like, I saw, if I remember correctly, one of the scenes was like Gino charging up to do a full like blast, and
oh, like that small little cutscene. I think those cutscenes are for like the special attack animations that some of the characters have. I'm not familiar with Mario RPG. I mean, I've watched a few YouTubers like talk about it, but I've never played it or like am super like familiar with the game. So I'm kind of excited to play it, but I do know that some of the characters have like special abilities, and you know, the cutscene of Gino like hopping around, I think that's one of his like big abilities or like big moves that he does that does like a lot of damage.
Right, I could definitely see, like, because like in the original game, it was like literally just them like standing still. Like, they move up to do their attack and they're standing still and the attack like commences.
Yeah.
But in this, not only do I feel like like little cutscenes like add sort of like life to it, but it could also lead to like maybe a new mechanic in the game that kind of helps activate these special moves, or maybe it'll still function the same way as it did in the previous game, the previous version, but just added cutscenes. And I will say that I just can't get over the way it looks mostly. I feel like
I agree.
Think about it, it'll just be like delving more into like what Super Mario RPG is for like some of the younger fans of Nintendo who have no idea what the heck this game is.
Yeah, because all we know is that it's a remake of the original that's coming out soon. Like, that's basically all we know. And of course, like, what it basically looks like. But we don't know any, like, extra features that they might put into the game or whatnot. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that, even as a non-Mario RPG fan. I don't call myself a Mario RPG fan because I've never played Mario RPGs, so kind of excited to see what they slightly change up from the original. I'd like to play the original at some point, but playing this remake is probably the best chance I have of playing it natively without emulation.
Right.
Alright, well, the last few Mario games that we do know about that are coming is the Princess Peach game and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon remake. Which do you want to talk about first?
I definitely want to talk about Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, especially because, like, I know you know far well that was my first video game I bought by myself for my birthday.
Yeah.
And that was literally during the year of Luigi. And to think about it now,
I remember that.
It's literally been a decade since then, and the fact that they are remaking this Luigi's Mansion game, it's like, yeah, that's a good idea, but at the same time, like, I feel like they're just gonna polish it up a bit.
Right.
Maybe change a few of the controls, like through what we've seen through gameplay that they did show off, is that there will be a second display for like the bottom screen, essentially, that have like the map and stuff.
It looks like the map and stuff, like what was the bottom screen of the 3DS, which was the map, is now up to the top right hand corner, I think, is what was either the top right or the bottom right. It was the right side of the screen. I gotta rewatch that footage at some point, but I do know that the bottom screen map is now on the screen at all times, which is perfectly fine. That makes perfect sense. It was like that in Luigi's Mansion 3. But also, I'm also super stoked about the dual stick controls in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. It desperately needed that.
Definitely, I would have to agree. Especially, like, the 3DS, it was like a good console to have Luigi's Mansion on it, both like its remake for the 3DS and Dark Moon. But like, if you were to compare it to the Luigi's Mansion 3, it definitely needed those upgrades.
Yeah. The other thing I was noticing was in the original announcement for it, obviously people were already doing comparisons between the 3DS version and the footage that they showcased of the Dark Moon remake, and it was already an upgrade. But in my opinion, the footage that they showed off was obviously super early because it wasn't as good looking as Luigi's Mansion 3 was.
Yeah.
And I feel like between last time they talked about it and maybe this direct, they will probably have a better build of the game to show off that has like maybe slightly better lighting and reflections that Luigi's Mansion 3 had. So I'm hoping to see an even more polished version of the game, because I know Nintendo has done this in the past. I mean, just look at early versions of Kirby Star Allies when they first showed that off compared to, you know, when the game released. Now, obviously, Kirby Star Allies, the only downfall it had was the frame rate, but like between just the visuals itself from announcement to when the game came out, there's an obvious difference. And I feel like Dark Moon, when they announced it, it was such an early development, but they wanted to talk about it because everyone was in a Mario mood due to the Mario movie. So they just wanted to showcase, hey, we have a bunch of Mario games coming out, stay tuned for more. And obviously Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was kind of still in early development, at least for the remake version. So I think if they were to show it off again, more features. I'm hoping for Scarescraper. I mean, obviously Scarescraper's going to be there, but I'm hoping maybe an improved Scarescraper. Maybe like in Luigi's Mansion 3 where we had Gooigi as well. Like, what if they put Gooigi in Dark Moon as well?
Specifically for Scarescraper, I could see that.
Or even in the story mode as well. What if it's like an online story mode and you can have Gooigi there? Because if you think about it, the original Luigi's Mansion remake for the 3DS had Gooigi in it for multiplayer in the original Luigi's Mansion, which is strange to think about. Play. And the way they did it is that the future Professor Egad sent his past self a Gooigi to basically train the Gooigi for Luigi's Mansion 3. So what if he did the same thing but also sent it to Dark Moon version to further, you know, train this Gooigi for Luigi's Mansion 3? Like, right. I can see that happening. I would not be sad if it didn't, but I could see that happening just because Gooigi is now a staple of the Luigi's Mansion series, and I'm all for it. Because Gooigi, the cutscenes with Gooigi and Luigi's Mansion 3 are super funny, and I just, it's chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Yes. I mean, Gooigi's made out of coffee, so...
He is. He even makes some ectoplasm and coffee.
Ectoplasmic coffee. It's great. I love me some coffee. I love me some ectoplasm. Don't take that wrong way. Anyway, let's talk about this Princess Peach game.
Yes, definitely. I will say, this is definitely the second Princess Peach game that we've had. The first one was like back on the DS.
Yeah, the first one was Super Princess Peach for the Nintendo DS. And that one was a bit controversial looking back at it because all of Peach's abilities came from her emotions.
But it was a different time back then compared to now, in all honesty.
Correct.
I mean, you can hate people from the past for doing that, but hey, we've learned from our mistakes.
Yeah. Anyway, so the new Princess Peach game looks amazing.
Definitely.
I have trouble believing it is running on original Switch hardware because the build that they even showed, like the lighting, it's like a stage play looking game. Almost beat 'em up central, kind of. We actually don't know what genre of video game this is, which kind of excites me when it comes with a Princess Peach starring video game. But what we've seen, it looks like Princess Peach just whacking people with her umbrella. Or a ribbon or whatever. I don't know what she was whacking around. But this game looks kind of cool, and I hope it's coming out this winter. Because remember, this Direct is focused on titles only in the winter. So they say. So they say. There's always a couple games that release like next summer that they talk about. Always. But
well, if it is like this winter, it could also fall into like I don't know, early next year,
Yeah.
like January.
I feel like this
Possibly.
Princess Peach game is definitely like a January, February release date. So this direct is definitely the time to give that game the true announcement that it needs on
Yes.
like what kind of game it is, how it works, what maybe the story is. I mean,
Yeah, delve a
does
little bit into
Mario
the
even
story.
appear in it? We don't even know
Yeah.
that. All we know is
That's
it has Princess Peach,
That's all we know.
and that the design of the game looks like she's on a stage, as if the entire game is like a play or something.
Hmm.
So that's all we know about the game, and I'm kind of excited to see.
Yeah,
stuff.
this,
New
it will
stuff.
definitely be an interesting game to play and just enjoy. Like, kind of take a break from Mario being the main character and just, have a game where it's just Peach. Like, Mario's not tagging along, neither Luigi nor Toad. It's just Peach all day, every day. Girl power.
Right. And speaking of Mario games and stage play, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Mario Party 3 is also on a stage? Question mark? Or is that Mario
no.
Party 2? Anyway, me trying to make some sort of transition actually makes sense. What I'm trying to talk about is Nintendo Switch Online games. Let's switch over to that and what we
Right.
honestly expect to see this next
So-
direct update for NSO.
Right.
We just got some NES, Super NES, and Game Boy games, and we just got Excite Bike 64 recently. The last two 64 games that we know are coming out, which, by the way, these two games were announced a year ago. Like, almost to this day. Actually, to this day, a year ago, it was announced that we would be getting Mario Party 3 at some point. And we
Right.
still don't have it. As well as, I think it's 1080 Snowboard, I think is the
Yeah.
only other N64 game that we know about. Do you think they would shadow drop these?
I feel like it's. I mean, in terms of like other games that they promised were coming, I'd say yes, they would definitely shadow drop like other SNO games that they promised would be coming, but we haven't seen them yet. I will say it was definitely kind of. Don't get me wrong, like we've tried out Excite Bike on the N64 and it was fun, but it was just not what we were expecting.
Well, we also didn't grow up playing Excite Bike 64, so
Yeah, but we didn't grow up to play Mario Party 3 or Mario Party 2 either. But hey, we play those as well.
and we might get some flack from the older audience that watches this and is like, "Hey, wait a minute, Excite Bike 64 was my jam." Well, yeah, guess what? We really want Mario Party 3, and we've been waiting a solid year for Mario Party 3. Where is it,
Yeah.
Nintendo? Where is it? Give it to me.
Yeah, deliver your promise, Nintendo.
I feel like they're gonna shadow drop both 1080 and Mario Party 3, and then announce a few more Nintendo 64 games. Probably like 3 or 4 more that are coming fairly soon. I hope.
Yeah, if anything, I would say 1080 snowboard it would definitely fit, especially for the fact that you're snowboarding and like winter's literally coming on soon. So I could definitely see like 1080 snowboarding possibly coming in like mid or late November, and then Mario Party 3 probably falling behind it. But if they just straight up like shadow drop those games like after the direct, that would be amazing.
Maybe we do a Mario Party 3 stream right after the direct if they did this. Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe. I also totally expect some Game Boy Advance announcements. There's actually a lot more Game Boy Advance games that we are expecting. I think it's actually just 3. I think the 3 we're waiting on is Golden Sun,
Mm-hmm.
Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, and one of the F-Zero games. There's like 3 of them on Game Boy Advance, but we know of one of them that's coming. I think it's like Maximum Velocity or something like that.
Wasn't like Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland also one of the ones that was shown off?
I'm not sure if they showcased that one, but that is a Game Boy Advance game that could also be coming. But I think they showed off the Amazing Mirror first. So
yeah,
I'm also hoping for the Amazing Mirror to be like Shadow Drop tomorrow. Fingers crossed. I have my Kirby.
That would be nice.
I have my Kirby shirt on. I have Kirby resting up here. Like we are trying to unleash the Kirby power and get some new Kirby announcement. I mean, we just got a Kirby game on the NSO. We got Kirby Star Stacker from the Super Nintendo. Or I should say Super Famicom, because it's only in Japanese. But hey, we got a Kirby game recently. What's another one? You know? Come on, let's make Ant Dude happy and put more Kirby games on NSO.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this video and you talking about Kirby. He's like, yes, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. More Kirby. You know, Nintendo can't go 5 seconds without talking about Kirby, because it's just that good of a series.
It is. And besides, like, of course, N64 and, like, Game Boy Advance, what about, like, for other series on the other systems that you would at least like to see?
I honestly don't think we'll hear anything else about NES, Super NES, and Game Boy, just because we just got an update, like, last week for them. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe they announced Super Mario Land for the Game Boy, and that's about it. But I honestly don't really see that happening, per se.
Yeah.
I'd love to be
that
wrong,
makes sense.
I don't. I just personally don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now that we've basically talked about what most likely is going to be shown off, I think we should go into some of the leaks that we've been hearing about, and maybe some of our off-the-wall predictions. So, for those of you who aren't, I was going to make a funny reference, but for those of you who don't live online like I do, and scroll through Twitter every 20 minutes of the day, there is this Twitter account called Pyoro_X. Basically, his profile picture is a WarioWare character, specifically the Red Bird. And he has posted leaks beforehand, and he's gotten them correct beforehand. I think the last leak he got correct was Metroid Dread, actually. He posted about Metroid Dread, and Metroid Dread was a thing, like the next Direct. So everyone is like leaning towards his leaks kind of being pretty legitimate. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt, but we're just going to read through some of the leaks that he has talked about. The first thing is that he said that we would be seeing the Princess Peach game. Again, he didn't specify anything else other than we would see more Princess Peach, which we've already talked about. We really don't know what to expect of that. But the other thing he also posted was a small little GIF of Donkey Kong running from the Mario movie. And he added the comment was pretty funny, is that you see Donkey Kong in the GIF, but you don't see who he's fighting. And so at first, when he posted the GIF, a lot of people were like, are we getting a new Donkey Kong game? A new 2D Donkey Kong side-scroller? Maybe even a 3D Donkey Kong? And he came out and he's like, no, he's fighting Mario. And you know what that means.
Mario versus Donkey Kong. Now, granted, will this be like another one of those ones where it's like they use the minis, or will this be like a legit, like, classic Donkey Kong arcade style game
So
with redone graphics.
yeah, so a lot of people that are hoping for a new Donkey Kong game, hearing this is like, this sucks. I hate the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. And my opinion is, I don't think they're necessarily bad games, but I don't think they're good games either. I do like the puzzle aspect of them. I think it was Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Star, the free one on the 3DS and Wii U, where you needed the amiibo to play, which was the only downfall of that game. But like, the fact that each of the minis had their own special abilities, and each of the levels that use that specific character's amiibo, or mini, I should say, like each one of those, like, pretty good design levels. And I personally like some of the puzzle aspect of these levels with the minis, and I personally wouldn't complain if it's another Mario vs. Donkey Kong with the minis again, because as long as it's maybe a cheap eShop only game that doesn't require amiibo, maybe like $15-$20 game, I sure wouldn't complain. I mean, it sucks that we're not getting a Donkey Kong 2D side-scroller, but Mario vs. Donkey Kong isn't that bad. But it's not that good either. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I would say, like, definitely the minis games were a hit and miss. It just kind of varied on, like, the game themselves. Not only that, but what those games had to offer. Like you mentioned, like Tipping Stars. It had the attribute of where you scanned your amiibo, and based on that amiibo, it would give you a little mini of that character that had special abilities. That was the downfall of that one, but it's not like all of them were bad. I mean, they were very good at being like puzzle-based games, but I would definitely like to see... I know this is going to be like a very highball kind of idea, but what if they remade the Mario vs. Donkey Kong game that was on the GBA that kind of introduced the minis? Now, granted, you didn't the minis, but you played as Mario going through these levels that have puzzles, and you were rescuing the minis.
Right, because Donkey Kong basically stole all the minis because I think Mario was making bank on his toys, and Donkey Kong was like, "Hey, I want money too," or something like that. I don't remember the story that much, but I do want to make a correction from what I said earlier. Tipping Stars was a 3DS game, and worked completely different from the other mini games. The game I was talking about was Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. So that was just the minis at all throughout that game. I do want to note that one of the other Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, I think it was the one on the DS, like Minis on the Move or something like that, it did have online connection in a way where you could make your own Mario vs. Donkey Kong like levels, upload it to the cloud, and have other people like download said levels and play those levels, almost like Mario Maker. So if they have like a Mario Maker-esque like level editor with Mario versus Donkey Kong, I think like another one of those in this day and age would be pretty cool, because we saw the stuff that people make in Mario Maker. Take that ×2 and put it in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Some of those levels are gonna go crazy.
Exactly.
So again, it's sad that we're not getting an actual DK game, because a lot of leaks beforehand were pointing towards a new Donkey Kong game made by the Mario Odyssey team. And now we're just getting a Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. I can see why a lot of people are disappointed. But me, on the other hand, as long as it's a cheap $20 eShop exclusive game, I won't complain.
Yeah. And honestly, it does upset me being a Donkey Kong fan myself, but it depends. If the game does look interesting, I'll probably go ahead and play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing.
Worth the $20.
The game has to be interesting and worth the $20. If it's not interesting and is quote, worth $60 according to Nintendo, that's when we actually riot. We don't riot until we see it. Then when we see it, then we can riot. But as for right now, my hopes aren't too high, but they're not super low either. I think my prediction's pretty standard. A $20 eShop exclusive Mario vs. Donkey Kong game with the minis, maybe online play. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, very
and
easy.
I may or may not get it.
Who knows?
We'll see. The other thing that Pyro kind of was leaning towards was remakes of DS and Wii games. He didn't give out any specifics. He just said, hey, a few remakes are coming.
Right.
What remakes do you think we would be getting?
Now, first of all, in terms of specifically for the fact that he just mentions like DS and Wii games I could see. DS, that's a bit of a stretch. That kind of depends on the DS game itself.
Well, you gotta think about it. I think it was Neo. I think it was The World Ends With You, or whatever that game was called. I think that was a DS game that was remade for the Switch. Obviously, the Switch port didn't sell super good. According to the fan base. But it was still a DS game that was remade. And maybe, we see some Phoenix Wright games get remade from the 3DS and DS era and put on the Switch. If they haven't been already. I'm not familiar with that series. I don't stay up to date with that series. I don't think some of those games are on the Switch just yet, but what if those games are ported to the Switch?
Now, this one's going to be like just kind of a huge pitch, but what if, and this is a big what if they ported the Metroid Prime game they had on the DS?
Oh, Metroid Prime Hunters.
Yes, what if they ported that onto the Switch?
I don't think, I could not see Nintendo do that. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, because I've been on a Metroid kick ever since playing Dread. I played Dread. Oh, so awesome. I played the original Metroid. I played Metroid 2 when it came out on NSO. I partially played Super Metroid. I played Samus Returns on the 3DS. Thanks to modding it, I've been playing every single Metroid I can get my hands on. And if I can get my hands on Metroid Prime Hunters without emulation, I would not complain. Now, is that an actual remake that's coming? I highly, highly doubt that. But I would love to be wrong.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. And just so another thing to throw out, if that were the case for remakes on the DS, this will be weird, but why am I blanking? Oh, Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. How would those work as remakes?
I'm not
sure.
Really
think about
I'm not sure if we would get any Zelda mentioned in this direct, besides maybe a Four Swords announcement for NSO. I don't foresee a Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks remake. And if they did remake those games, I think it would be a combo pack. But I don't think they would remake those games and put it on the Switch. I'm not sure if people would legit want it. I would want it, because I love Spirit Tracks. And I didn't really play much of Phantom Hourglass. So I would like to go through Phantom Hourglass. But I love Spirit Tracks, so I wouldn't complain about that. But I don't foresee any big DS remakes like that.
Hmm.
And
okay.
as for the Wii, as I'm sitting here thinking about remakes for the Wii, what if we got a Wii Sports Resort remake?
Oh my god, that
Listen,
would be
I think more people would buy that than Nintendo Switch Sports, and that's saying something.
You're not wrong.
Nintendo Switch Sports sucked ass. And if we got an actual remake of an actual competent Wii Sports game, Resort, Dogfight Online, man. Listen, I love Dogfight.
Yeah,
That's
I
where you
remember
fly
you
with
and I
planes,
would
go
play
pew, pew.
Dogfight with each other, just try to shoot each other
Yes,
down. That
yes.
that was fun.
Of course, Nintendo servers probably wouldn't be able to handle that online, but a man can dream. A man
Can only dream.
Um,
And in terms of like other Wii games, I just thought of Mario Baseball. Definitely the one Mario sports game we don't have on the Switch. We
So-
have Mario Tennis, golf, and soccer, or for those that are in Europe, football.
football.
But we don't have baseball.
So what
Where's
you're
our
saying?
baseball?
So what you're saying is instead of them making a completely brand new Mario Baseball game and putting like some Odyssey characters or maybe some Mario Galaxy characters into the roster, we're just gonna get a remake of Mario Baseball from the Wii and not get any new characters and just stick
No.
with the Mario Sunshine characters with Petey Piranha and the Piantas and the Nokis.
Now, granted, don't get me wrong. If they do remake it, I would like to see some new faces. But
Oh, I agree.
it would be,
They can't
it would be
do
nice.
they can't do a Mario Baseball and not put in Rosalina.
Right, but to be fair, if it, I don't care if it's a remake or a straight port, okay? They need to put Mario Baseball in there. I'm pretty sure literally a lot of fans will agree with me that Mario Baseball needs to be added. And especially because, like, literally the MLB posted something on Twitter
Oh
showing-
yeah.
showing Mario Baseball, like Mario's Baseball Stadium
That was
from the baseball games. I'm like,
that was making a lot of fans be like, "Yo, MLB, don't tease us like this."
please don't.
If they were to make another Mario Baseball, do you think we would see Toadsworth in the game?
Bring back our man and his mustache.
Yeah, I don't think
Bring him
Toadsworth
back.
has died, and if he has, they need to just come out and say, "Sorry guys, he died." Like, he was supposed to be in the Mario movie, and he wasn't.
Yeah, he was replaced with just some random toad with glasses.
Last
I
time,
mean-
last time we saw him was Mario Luigi Dream Team, I believe. Maybe
Yeah.
Paper Jam or whatever, Mario Luigi Paper Jam or whatever it was called.
It was Dream Team. That was the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
It would be nice to like see him like have a comeback somehow.
I agree. I miss my boy Toadsworth. He was always worried about when Princess Peach got captured, but he was also really good with the ladies, apparently.
That is true. Apparently.
Watch Game Explains Missing in Action about Toadsworth. You'll
I've-
see what I'm talking about.
I've seen that, and that's just funny.
Yeah, you see
I gotta
what
lie,
I'm talking
that's-
about.
I
He's,
can't lie. That's just
this
funny.
old coot is good with the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the last thing that Pyoro kind of teased a bit is he talked about how a series that is based off of a mathlib, or the name is based off of some mathlib function for when you're coding, would be getting a new game. And a lot of people, including me, at first was like, what function is he talking about? Turns out he's talking about F-Zero, which didn't even know that was a math function. I do now. But apparently, we might be getting a new F-Zero game. What that fully entails, we don't 100% know. But he kind of pushed towards it not being a remake and it being a free-to-play multiplayer online game, almost like Tetris 99, but except F-Zero and you're racing.
But that begs the question: how would that work, though? Like, do
I
random
think-
race cars just get applied if you pass a lap before someone? Or
I think
what?
it's just
Or-
going to be like normal racing, where it's just get first place and you win. Because F-Zero, the way it works is it's a more chaotic Mario Kart, and you can actually crash and wreck your ship. And if you do, you're basically out of the race. Like, you're done.
Right.
So you can, like, tear up other people. And I think F-Zero was also a 30-person race back on the GameCube. F-Zero GX. I think that was a 30-player race. So, at making that, but then online, and have it be like a 99, like F-Zero 99 or whatever, even if it's just like 99 racers, that would be even crazier. But I think they would probably stick with 30, maybe up into 50. I mean,
yeah,
nothing's out of the possibilities, but we haven't seen F-Zero in a while, and I actually think doing an F-Zero 99 would be the best way to reinvent the series in a way, because it doesn't really change the way F-Zero plays, but it makes it a different racing genre enough. I mean, it already was different enough from Mario Kart, in my personal opinion, because there's not really any items in F-Zero. It's kind of just go fast and don't crash, and try to fuck up your opponents. That's basically all this game was about.
Yeah.
So
I could definitely see that being a possibility now, thinking on it. Like, that will be cool to see if that is a possibility.
Yeah, exactly. And with F-Zero coming, like, obviously we don't 100% know what that entails. A lot of people were talking about a 99 version, but a lot of people were also talking about maybe an F-Zero GX GameCube remaster.
Oh, kind of almost in the same sense of, like, Metroid Prime Remaster.
And maybe even the same sense as Pikmin 1 and 2.
Like how those were just, they were just ported on, but of course they had to have a few things changed. Because, like, in the original Pikmin, I do remember that the battery that you collect in Pikmin 2 was a Duracell battery. But if you play Pikmin 2 on a Switch, it was the static kind of looking battery that was in the Japanese version.
Which is okay. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal in my personal opinion. But the past couple directs, the one in January, or February maybe. Yeah, the one in early February and then the one in June, both had GameCube remasters or remakes or re-releases announced and basically shadow dropped. I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered was shadow dropped and then was available physically a month later, and then Pikmin 1 and 2 was shadow dropped back in June, and I think its physical releases sometime this month. I forgot what day. Fairly soon. I could see them doing another GameCube remaster, shadow drop it, and then the physical be released later on, and that remastered shadow drop could be F-Zero.
Right. I could definitely see that.
And I kind of hope so, because I don't have F-Zero GX for the GameCube, but I do have a demo disc where I can play a demo of F-Zero GX. And I think that's one of the most... this demo version that I played is one of the most beautiful GameCube games I've ever played. And a lot of people on the internet also have the same feelings towards it. It's one of the best looking GameCube games. And remaking it in HD with HD textures and putting it on the Switch could make it look even better. I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered kind of showed what the Switch is capable of graphically, and I would love to see F-Zero get the same treatment.
Right.
Now, do we see another GameCube remaster maybe on the horizon? Maybe Prime 2?
Well, yeah, and in terms of, like, Wii, Prime 3? Possibly?
Prime 3? Prime 2? Prime 3? Maybe? Listen, if they shadow drop Prime 2, I won't guarantee that I'll buy the shadow drop, but I'll definitely buy the remake physically and play it on stream as well. I've been wanting to play Metroid Prime 2, and I have not been able to due to the disc that I own not reading on my GameCube. So if they were to remake it and put it on the Switch, even better. I'd be able to play it. And if they were to remake it for the Switch, do you think they would go the Metroid Prime Remastered treatment, or do you think they would just re-release it as a combo pack with 2 and 3 and just slightly up-res the resolution and that's about it? or would they fully remaster and redo all the models in the game like they did with Metroid Prime Remastered?
I would definitely say that they could definitely just repackage it with 3 as like a combo kind of thing, and like barely make any changes to it. Maybe upscale it a bit, but not straight up like do a full-blown remaster,
Right.
like they did with the first Prime. But I could definitely see like them sharing that kind of info on like 2 and 3 coming out, especially to hype us more on 4 at some different point.
Right. Where is Metroid Prime 4? We haven't seen it in 7 years. I don't foresee it showing up at all this direct.
Yeah, not this direct. Maybe a future one.
I feel like Metroid Prime 4 has been converted to a co-release on both the Switch and the Switch 2. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. That it'll be released on the Switch and then the Switch 2.
And yeah, so is there any other kind of leaks that we should discuss, or
that was
we
pretty much the
even
last
discuss?
of the leaks? But before we get on to the off the walls, stuff to talk about, I think we should talk about one last thing, and it's the Mario Kart music that's been playing in the background that has reminded me of this. Wave 6 for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass.
Definitely.
What do you hope to see in Wave 6?
Do you want me to start with characters?
Let's start with characters. Who do you think the last 2 characters will be?
Funky Kong and Pauline.
You said Funky Kong and Pauline?
Yes. Because, here's the thing. Funky Kong, we haven't seen him in Mario Kart game since, like...
Mario Kart Wii?
Yeah. And in terms of, like, other outside Mario Kart games, like Mario Kart Tour. But, if anything, with Mario Kart Tour, they also added, like, other Donkey Kong characters that haven't even shown up in Mario Kart at all. Funky Kong was the only one besides Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong themselves that are in this game. But I will say, I don't think Diddy Kong was originally in Mario Kart 8. Was he? In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
No. So, I think Diddy Kong was originally planned for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but the developers didn't put him in and kind of said, sorry. And that was revealed in like a discussion when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was first released. And the fact that we haven't gotten Diddy Kong since is kind of crazy. I think the last 2 characters would be Diddy Kong and Nabbit.
Okay.
I see Nabbit coming in, and the only reason why I say this is because I saw someone post about it, and it makes too much sense. Nabbit was in New Super Mario Bros. U. Then they put him in Mario Kart Tour. And then he's still in Mario games, specifically in Mario Wonder. If he's in Mario Wonder, that does not leave him out of the question for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah, it really doesn't. But like,
would I want him personally? Hell no. I would rather it be Diddy Kong and Funky Kong, but I don't see us getting 2 Kongs in the same wave.
If anything, that'd be crazy.
That would be even crazier, but I kind of see Diddy Kong and Nabbit, and if not Nabbit, Pauline. But we definitely have to see Diddy Kong. And if not, I can kind of see a lot of people ride.
Yeah, so here's the thing, like, when it comes to, like, my thought process on it being Pauline, it was because, like, in one of the latest tours for Mario Kart Tour, one of Pauline's skins was her wearing a cowboy outfit, and or a cowgirl outfit, sorry, but it was a straight up, like, outfit that changed her model from it being, like, in a dress to almost like almost a skin-tight suit in a way.
Right, almost like all the female biker outfits in Mario Kart.
Right. Yeah, so if they were able to willingly take the time to make a model that essentially put Pauline in a biker outfit in Tour, essentially,
Yeah.
that would not be out of the question.
Yeah,
if it
because
was
all they
in
would have to do
Deluxe.
is up-res the model and change the texture from being a cowgirl outfit to a biker outfit, and then voila, you're done.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. I mean, I'm no developer. I'm pretty sure it takes longer than that. But if the work has already been partially done, you're right. We could realistically see Pauline. I think that was the only reason why we hadn't seen Pauline beforehand, was that making a second biker model of her was the only caveat we had. And now we somewhat don't have that caveat anymore due to the cowgirl outfit.
Yeah, like it's very easy to do it.
Now that we've gotten the characters out of the way, let's start
talk
with
about
some
tracks.
of the courses. I think this announcement for Wave 6 will go as follows. It'll show the last two characters, as well as one of the tracks. Maybe two of the tracks. And that's it. And then we won't see what the rest of the wave entails till, like, maybe the end of the month. And the tracks probably release mid-November. That's my guess. But what tracks do you think they will definitely reveal to get the most amount of hype? Because looking back at the last few wave announcements, they've always showed the most hype tracks. Now Wave 5, squeaky clean sprint probably wasn't the hypest they could have showed. But in my personal opinion, it was pretty hype because it was a new course and it looked amazing. So
Yeah.
what courses do you think they'll show off?
So I'm gonna put this in perspective with like, because I do know there are, I believe, 3 tour tracks coming in this next wave, and I might have an idea on what all 3 of those are.
Oh,
and
we
they are,
definitely know what all 3 of those are.
yeah, they're relatively new. There's Piranha Plant Cove, which that one was like an underwater kind of track in a sense. Then there was also Rome Avanti. That was like one of the newer tour tracks that came out that was based in Rome. And I would definitely love to see that.
Oh, we're definitely getting all the Tour City tracks. Because the last 2 is Rome Avanti, and I'm pretty sure you were going to mention Madrid Drive, I think that's what it's called.
I'd have to look
It's
more
Madrid
into that.
something, but it's definitely Madrid. Madrid and Rome is definitely coming. I think you're missing one tour track, though, and that is Piranha Plant Pipeline.
Oh, yes, Piranha Plant Pipeline. That was another one.
I think we're going to get all the tour courses, so I think those are the 4 courses we will be getting. I'm not sure if they're going to show any of those, though, because I don't think any of those will be as hype as maybe the 2 courses that I'm thinking that they might showcase, that being Bowser's Castle 3, specifically the remake from Tour, and Wii Rainbow Road.
Oh my god,
There's nothing better for them to show for maximum overdrive excitement and hype levels than to show off Wii's Rainbow Road.
Wasn't there also supposed to be a brand new track in Wave 6 as well, or is it all just retro?
I don't want to get too far into the specifics on what was going on, because you can find so many videos on YouTube talking about it, and all of it's very interesting, but it's a very complicated subject. But I'm pretty sure a few of the things got out of whack, and the few courses that were going to be new might have been like Piranha Plant Pipeline and Piranha Plant Cove.
Yeah, so I could definitely like see that as well, because I think if I do remember at one point there was a rumor on a new Donkey Kong related course, which that would have been cool
and
to see.
I think that's eventually what turned it into Piranha Plant Cove. I think that's what it ended up turning into.
Yeah, I definitely see that. But like Wii Rainbow Road, like you mentioned, I could definitely see that being a thing.
Right.
Definitely. Like hands down, add another Rainbow Road. Why not? We already have, like, what, 5 in the game?
Yeah. And actually, going back and thinking about it, maybe the reveal trailer maybe saves Bowser's Castle for the actual reveal of the rest of the wave. And maybe they do this. They show off Diddy Kong driving through Piranha Plant Cove, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the theming's almost there.
Yeah,
right?
it's almost
He's
there.
a monkey, and then you have ancient architecture with Piranha Plant Cove. Like, that theming, it kind of makes sense with each other. And then you show off
Right.
Pauline driving through Mario Kart Wii's Rainbow Road. Just because rainbows, Pauline's cool as hell, Rainbow
Mhm.
Road's cool as hell. So combine that together and there you go.
Yeah.
It almost makes too much sense. And because it makes too much sense, Nintendo wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. Because it makes too much sense, Nintendo wouldn't do it. But
Yeah.
that's my hopes, and that's what I predict is going to happen.
Yeah. I could definitely see that happening as well. Like, there's no question that Wave 6 will be announced during this.
Right. Just how it might be announced, we don't know.
We'll have
There's
to
no
find out
question that
when
it
we watch
will be there. Anyway, let's go on to the last topic of the video and talk about our off-the-wall predictions. Tristan, please go first.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess combo pack.
What'd you
I
say?
said them.
Wait, say that again?
The Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess combo pack. Come on, Nintendo.
No, that sounds like
yes.
copium to me. That sounds like copium. I don't think it's happening.
But
It's
here's
not
the thing. They did fabulous on the HD remakes on the Wii U.
Oh, I agree.
The problem was it was on the Wii U. That
Oh,
was
yeah,
the problem.
100%. That was the major issue with the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HDs, was it was on the Wii U, and it's only been on the Wii U. Now,
And that's
if
when
they
I
were...
say,
Sorry.
yeah, that's when I say, like, it would be better if they were just went ahead and ported the. They don't have to do like remakes over again. They can just port the HD versions that they did on the Wii U onto the Switch. It probably won't be that hard. Everything's already up-res to the Wii U specs. I'm pretty sure the Switch can do Wii U specs.
Oh, no, for sure. Just look at Mario Kart 8. On Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, when you played single player, it ran at 60 FPS, but then playing multiplayer, it went down to 30 FPS. However, the Switch can run Mario Kart 8 Deluxe split screen at 60 FPS. The Switch is more powerful than the crappy-ass Wii U that's 10 times its size. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating. But
But I would like to see that, in all honesty. And like
Now-
you said, it might be copium,
yeah,
but still, I want my Zelda games.
I'm going
I
to
grew up
add
with
on to
that
the
shit.
copium, though. If they were to re-release the HD remakes of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I don't think it's going to be a combo pack. And the reason why I say that is because they can't re-release Twilight Princess HD without the amiibo compatibility with Wolflink. And for those that didn't buy the Twilight Princess HD with the Wolflink combo pack, they would have to redo that packaging for the Switch.
They would.
Excuse me. And they
I
would
didn't
have
think
to
of that.
re-release the Wolflink amiibo. Would I buy the combo pack? No. I already have Wolflink. But maybe I do, just to get a sealed Wolflink.
Oh my god. You're gonna be one of those motherfuckers.
I'm gonna be one of those motherfuckers, yeah. I mean, Metroid Dread, this thing is sealed back there because I already have Metroid Dread. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point. And then they would re-release Wind Waker HD, and instead of with a Ganon statue like they did originally, they would do a Wind Waker Ganon style amiibo and do a combo pack that way. I think that's what
But
they would do.
how would
Massive
it function
copium,
with
because
Wind
it makes
Waker?
more sense to do that with a like a Zelda anniversary. Of course, they did jack shit for the Zelda anniversary, which is why this is major copium for possibly getting the HD remasters again.
Yeah. Because I will say the only thing that we ever actually got from the Zelda anniversary last time, this
Precisely.
thing.
Precisely.
Exactly.
I must say, I love how we just had the stuff to show off, like right within arm's reach. This was not planned. This was not planned. I assure you.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like the Game & Watch, but I just wish they did more.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why
I agree.
That's why I want to see Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on the Switch. It doesn't have to be a combo pack, but just put them on the Switch, please. If there are eShop exclusives, I don't care. Just
I don't think they could get away with doing eShop exclusives with these Zelda games. They would have to be physical releases as well. Maybe an eShop exclusive for like a month because they shadow drop them, but they could not.
Yeah, that's true.
Any other off the walls prediction? Because I only have one, and I'm saving mine for the very end.
I thought about this, especially with Dark Moon coming to the Switch.
Okay.
What if they also did the first Luigi's Mansion game as well?
Ooh.
Because the one that they did on 3DS, it wasn't bad. It was not bad whatsoever. It came towards the end of the 3DS's lifespan, and like if you were to play multiplayer, it didn't perform that well. Like performance issues, it wasn't that good.
Right.
But if they did bring that version onto the Switch, and they redid it to where it would be more in line with Luigi's Mansion 3, or this remake of Dark Moon that we're getting, then I could see it. And I would definitely get it, but also provide online support with friends for multiplayer.
Yeah, the 2-player multiplayer with Luigi and Gooigi for the original Luigi's Mansion. And instead of having and being forced to be in the same room together, what if you were able to spread apart and tackle the mansion in a much quicker succession? Like, you could be getting Norville in that side of the mansion, and then I could go and get his wife on just a few doors down. And then we could both tackle Chansey at the same time.
Yeah, like you can handle certain ghosts separately, but when it comes to the boss, you both have to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you can't continue on.
Yeah. And now the only caveat is, keys and whatnot. But on the, like, the small chances where there's, like, a few rooms that you can go and separate and deal at the same time, because there's no keys locking said doors, you could split up and do those things. And I think that would make progressing through the mansion and getting, 100% of the money throughout the mansion as well so much easier, because then you have two people tackling it at the same time and not being forced to be in the same room.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a thing. Like, that could definitely be a little caveat for it.
Right. Alright,
And
any more predictions?
not any that I can think of that would be like off the walls kind of stuff.
Right.
Because if I didn't hear the leak about a Mario vs. K game, then I would definitely say like a new 3D. You know what? That just popped in my head. Donkey Kong 64 on NSO. What about that?
That would be so funny if they came in and say, guys, we hear you. You've been wanting Mario Party 3. But you know what? We're going to give you the biggest fuck you ever and give you Donkey Kong 64 instead.
But hey, that multiplayer is fun though. The multiplayer in the game is fun.
I wouldn't complain. To be honest, I would not complain. I like Donkey Kong 64. The collecting all the bananas separately and like some of those features kind of sucked ass. But Donkey Kong 64 was pretty fun in my opinion to play. And I do like the multiplayer where you can like shoot each other with coconut guns and be different colored DKs. Like, I thought that portion was pretty fun to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think that would be pretty funny if Nintendo just came in and said, we know you want Mario Party 3. However, we have something, quote, better. And it's something not better.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think if that's the last of your predictions, we're gonna go all balls to the wall with my prediction.
All right, let me hear what you
You
got.
ready for this? So we've heard recently that behind closed doors at Gamescom, some key developers and some press was shown the Nintendo Switch 2 and how it uses NVIDIA's DLSS technology to output games in 4K at 60 FPS and is able to load games like Zelda Breath of the Wild in, instead of like 30 seconds, down to just little to no seconds load times. Like, that's some fast load times. I think Nintendo may get cocky and show off their next-gen Switch here, just to, like, get developers started, but also to get some hype started, because there's rumors of a March 2024, but we don't know if that's going to be March 2024 they announce it or March 2024 they release it. I think the way they'll handle it is they'll handle it like how Sony and Xbox has handled the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, where some games that have released for those consoles are cross-platform between the older gen consoles, or cross-generation, not cross-platform, cross-generation. I think Nintendo will do the same thing, where they will release the Switch 2 and slowly phase out the Nintendo Switch.
I see.
So they'll release Switch 2 and then slowly phase out the current Switch, and that's fine by me. I think
definitely see that.
I think they have to announce this in such a way that it won't kill Switch sales this Christmas. Because, I mean, Nintendo may want maximum sales this Christmas, but I also think they want to showcase the Switch 2 as early as possible. I mean, last time they, anytime a console manufacturer comes out with a revision of their console, they always talk about it 12 to 6 months before the actual console comes out.
Right, as like kind of in a way for their going into the side of like business in this, because like the start of the physical year is literally coming around the corner.
Right.
So
the fiscal year starts in March. And what if they were to release the Switch 2 a couple weeks before the start of the fiscal year, just to get some initial sales, so they could talk to their investors, and then their investors be like, ooh, that's some good marketing there. That's some good sales you got there just for the initial. We're excited to see where this goes.
Right, exactly. I could definitely see that happening. Like, get some hype around it, not go too in depth on it, but just like, yep, it exists.
Right. Precisely. I don't think they could release the Switch 2 this Christmas. I don't think it's ready, but I think 6 to 8 months from now, between March and next summer, I think realistically that could be a thing. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, and Nintendo wants to push as many Switch units as possible this Christmas. I mean, we saw that they're taking Switch Lites, probably the stock they already had, slapping an Animal Crossing skin on it, selling Animal Crossing game with the Switch Lite, and selling that as a bundle, and then trying to reduce their stock of Switch models by selling the Mario Kart bundle again this Christmas or this holiday. I think they're trying to sell as many Switch units and get them out of warehouses as possible this Christmas. So maybe mentioning the Switch 2 now wouldn't be a great idea if they're trying to get rid of all their stock. But I don't think it's out of the question.
Yeah. I would say, like, I kind of agree with the fact that it would not work that way if Nintendo's trying to get rid of their stocks on current Switch models that they have. But
I think the only way they could get around that and announce it like tomorrow would be to say, hey, this is just a third pillar on the Switch lineup, and in reality, it's not. It'll eventually be a replacement. But they could say, hey, it's just a more powerful Switch. It's backwards compatible with all the Switch games. You don't necessarily need it. But then after the holidays roll around, that's when marketing really pushes, hey, the Switch 2 is what's replacing the old Switch. Buy it now. Like, essentially, that's how they could handle it.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to wait and see then, I guess.
Realistically, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to put my balls to the wall and say, what if it does?
You're just smacking them on the wall.
I'm just smacking them.
Possibly gonna create a hole, but hey, who knows?
Balls of steel. That's my prediction. Does Nintendo have the balls of steel? Probably not, but I sure do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's honestly crazy.
Do we have anything else to mention, talk about? Any hopes, dreams?
All I can say overall, besides like what we can expect, I just hope this direct will be good, and that there's little to no filler.
Right. What's your hype level out? What is your hype level at out of 10?
I'm keeping it at a 5.
5? 5 out of 10?
I can, like, here's the thing. I am hyped that it's at least announced, but I don't want to put it, like, too high in case, like, there is, like, filler in between, like, some of the major releases.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, all that we would expect coming out of leaks and our own predictions doesn't come to fruition.
Right. I think I'm sitting at a solid 7. And the only reason why I'm sitting at a 7 is because I'm not expecting yes, but I'm expecting C levels of game announcements. But I'm also at a 7 because I'm live streaming this direct, and I love live streaming the directs, and I think it's always fun to provide some sort of reaction and get like comments saying "oh my god" like at the same time. Like I think it's really fun to do, and I'm glad I can do another one of these. This will be what, the 3rd one I've done so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely excited, mainly for that reason, but also I'm hoping F-Zero maybe returns, and maybe Metroid Prime 2, but
oh my god,
it's half copium for those. It's less copium than Zelda, Tristan. So
that is true. My copium is just all in the Zelda. All in the Zelda. I don't care what it is. 4 swords on a GBA? Yes, please give it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess? Yes, give it to me. Give me all the Zelda.
am kind of glad that
fan for a reason.
Yeah, I am kind of glad that we are keeping and managing our expectations at kind of the mid-level. We're not expecting utmost craziness, but you know, anything can happen. It is Nintendo. We don't know what's going to happen until we see it.
I will say, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to do like the whole Nathaniel Bailey thing. If something crazy happens that I don't expect, I will eat my shorts.
Right. Okay.
He ate his underwear. That's disgusting. Well, I'll eat my shorts.
Well, we'll hold you to it. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for joining in on this Nintendo Direct discussion. Again, if you guys want to hear, more of these, maybe even a podcast about gaming news or whatever, I mean, let us know down in the comments below. This is really fun to do, and I guess I will see you guys in the Nintendo Direct tomorrow.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Catch you guys later.
Bye-bye.